This week's Piltch Point with Avram Piltch is proudly powered by PureVPN. The best way to protect your privacy online is with PureVPN. You can hide your online activities, say goodbye to regional restrictions, and improve your streaming quality. Plus, it's available for almost all of your devices. You can get a special price and a 31-day money-back guarantee right now by going to pilchpoint.live/PureVPN. Well, we were just talking about a novel hardware product, Avram, but it's not the only one out there.
Yes. So let's talk about a couple of novel hardware products that don't seem to be doing quite as well. We all know that and have discussed many times on the show that AI is a big hype machine at this point, much like blockchain was in years past, and crypto, and 3D televisions and whatever. This is not to say that there is no place for the fundamental technology that underpins what we call AI, which is essentially pattern recognition and essentially pattern recognition and recreation of patterns from ingestion of patterns. But what we've seen is a couple of companies coming out with AI hardware that are dedicated gadgets. So the two that I'm going to talk about today are very hot in the news. And these both come from startups. The Humane AI Pin, and the Rabbit R1. And actually, there's a third one. If we have time, I'd love to talk about that is not out yet, called the Limitless Pendant, but which we don't know yet because it hasn't come out yet, so we can't say yet what if it's going to work as advertised. We can only talk about the potential. But with the AI Pin, let's have a little look at some pictures here of the AI Pin. So I'm taking these from my coworkers who work for Tom's Guide, not to be confused with Tom's Hardware. We did not get one of these to review, and that is fine because it's not really the type of thing we would review. So this is what the Humane AI Pin looks like, and you literally pin it to your body, to your shirt. You use a magnet, and there's like a battery on the inside of it. So there's a battery on the inside of it that kind of holds it in place. It gets a couple of hours of battery life. What it's supposed to do is it will, you can talk to it and it will answer questions and do commands. It has a little bit of a UI that's I think it's kind of interesting because you can see in this picture, it actually projects something onto your hand. And then you can kind of open and close your fingers to navigate the menu. Which is kind of neat. It'll kind of take pictures and record stuff and kind of tell you about what you're looking at. But it has gotten some very horrible reviews. I don't mean the reviews are horrible. I mean, it's gotten very negative reviews for a number of reasons. So first, let's talk about the price of the Humane AI Pin. This pin is $6.99 plus $24 a month subscription service. The subscription service is because it is its own cellular connection. You do not need a phone. It doesn't actually, there's no way to pair it with your phone. It has its own it can get calls, but it has its own phone number that's separate from your regular phone number. And it uses that internet connection. I'm not sure if it's 4G or 5G, but whatever, to to give you the information. Um, you know, but what people have found is that it's slow. Like, you kind of tap it on your chest, sort of like Star Trek, right? Sort of like next gen Star Trek with the communicator.
That's what I was
Uh,
thinking.
yes, yes. I think they were. I'm sure they were inspired by that. Sure of it. Um, but unlike the communicator, this has like a camera on it and the projector thing. It only has a couple hours of battery life, so uh, you know it it uses basically image search, which you could do with your phone. Apparently, it can't even set timer. It is kind of slower than your phone, and uh, the interface with the projector doesn't work that well. It gets physically hot and uncomfortable to wear. And the better question is, why would you want this? Like, why? It doesn't do anything that your phone can't do, and it does it worse. So what is the point of having this device? Like, is it so you leave your phone at home and walk around with it? I mean, do we need to have a really expensive device to keep you from carrying your phone with you? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that's been attempted, right? Didn't Palm come out with their like
I,
little tiny phone?
so the whole time you've been talking, that's what's been in my
Yeah,
head was the little palm microphones. Microphones? This is a
right.
microphone. But the tiny Android or something powered secondary
The
phones.
phone to get you away from your phone.
It was so
That just
weird.
seems
And
weird to me.
I mean, other than the fact that you have slightly sold me on it being a Star Trek communicator, but that's the extent of it. It's not a $700 toy. To go back to
I
our last
mean, what
conversation, it is not. It is a $700 toy, and no, thank you.
Right. I mean, what could work in its place is if you had some type of a thing that paired to your phone
Mm-hmm.
and used your phone to do some of this. Uh, I still don't know that you really need it on you. And there may even be some privacy. Well, it doesn't record all the time. It just takes pictures of what you tell it to. So I don't know. But, some people might be concerned about you wearing a camera everywhere. Um,
We remember
but
Google Glass.
yeah, see that. I mean, that's what comes to mind, right? For me, but uh, yeah. So anyway, a side note on all this is that are you familiar with Marquise Brownlee, otherwise known as MKBHD? Um, he's a very, very famous, one of the leading
Yeah, yeah.
YouTube journalists.
Aware of. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's been doing this for a long time, and people are dying to get him to review their stuff because he's got a huge following. And
And
I've watched his stuff and he does a good
he's fair.
job.
Yeah, he's fair and to the point.
Yeah. I mean, he's very he's a lot he is not taken to, being snarky even about something that's bad. So he did a review of this, and his headline for the video was the worst product I've ever reviewed. And if you watch the video, he's actually quite kind to the product, considering he really appreciates that they made an effort, that it was hard work to design something new. It's a new product category, but look at all these things it couldn't do. And he kept coming back to the fact that his phone that he already carries can do so much more. Why would somebody want this? Um, so anyway, somebody who, I forget the name of this person, is a venture capitalist with like 300,000 followers, tweeted out that it was immoral and irresponsible for MKBHD to trash this product because now the company is going to go out of business and people are going to lose their jobs because of his negative review. Um, I mean, as a journalist, I find that that claim offensive. first of all, everybody who reviewed the product, which I did not get to, but my colleagues at Tom's Guide did, and lots of other people did. Everybody who reviewed the product had the same problems with it. They all think it's bad. Um, so picking on Marquise Brownlee just because he's got a big following, like everybody said the same thing, and they said it because the product obviously is not a good product. So what do they expect to happen? What do they expect to happen? They expect people to buy it, and without seeing any reviews or any honest reviews of it, and then they're going to find a lot of user reviews, people who are annoyed with it, or people returning it if they're able to return it. Like, one way or another, a bad product, news about a bad product gets out, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so if the company, which I don't think they've made any other products before this, Humane, um, you know, happens to go out of business because, and I think they actually got rid of a bunch of people in the company before they launched it, before it came out. Like, if they go out of business, well, it's probably because they didn't make a good product, and also the very idea for the product might have been a bad idea in the first place. Like, even if it did everything it said remarkably well, it still has no purpose,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, I do kind of find the idea that it might have a projector on it cool, but it's not really a projector. I mean, it's just like a little bit of, like, if it could sort of look like Princess Leia or something in your hand and say, and talk to you, like, uh, that would be cool. But yeah, I mean, it seems it. I really have to wonder whether some of these companies they're out there looking for investors, for venture capital. They're hoping somebody buys them, right? Uh, and they're based on the bigger fool theory. Well, you know, someone's going to spend. And I said I have AI. I said I have a a product coming. I launched my product. Look at me, and they may have already got, the people who founded the company may have already gotten enough money that to get out of it. I don't know, but um, the same story may be taking place with another product called the Rabbit R1. Um, that Humane's, I think, came out like 2 weeks ago. Rabbit R1 just launched this past week. So let me find some pictures of the Rabbit R1 to show you. Now, one thing I want to say about the Rabbit R1, uh, and that's interesting. My coworker Mark tested uh, the Rabbit versus Siri. So here, I'm going to share some pictures of the Rabbit. Oh no! I just turned off my thing. Did not hit the share. Okay, so here's an article about the Rabbit, and what you can see is, um, here's what the Rabbit looks like. It's very cute. It's a little orange device. It's much more affordable. I believe it's $199, and it has a camera, and it has a microphone for interacting with it, with your voice, and uh, you can use, I think, this dial. There's so what uh, so supposedly, it's going to have a lot of services. Uh, it's going to have a lot of services integrated into it, like using it to order food or get an Uber or whatever. Although most of those things don't 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 work right yet. Um, it um, so apparently, Mark tested this against Siri, which I don't know if that's the best test. I think maybe testing against Google Voice Assistant, or maybe ChatGPT, or Bing or Copilot would have been better, but um, you know, but anyway, so you can talk to it just like you can, but it's not as fast. Yes. Uh, so apparently there have been some issues with it, like it integrates with Spotify, but people, I've read a number of things where people asked it for something, like someone asked it for Beyonce's latest album, and it played them an, her oldest album. Um, so again, this is something where it's a dedicated device doing the same things that your phone can already do, and this one you don't even wear. I mean, supposedly it's going to have something on it where it learns how to use apps, Android apps for you or something, but that doesn't work yet. There's a lot of things on it that don't work yet, and I don't see why you need a dedicated device to give you, Bing or ChatGPT in the palm of your hand that you
Mm-hmm.
already are getting, that you already can get if you want those things from any current phone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is
Th-
199.
this one
I don't
feels
think it
even
has a
more.
but
This one feels even more like the Palm phone, right? Like
right,
it's not even wearable. The
right.
the thing that makes the other one feel like the Palm phone is that the price is outrageous, which that was too. Um, but it's tiny, it's handheld, it's oddly shaped. It it kind of screams that weird little Palm phone, except
Right. So
it's
like
way less money.
I don't understand the point. Like I don't understand the point of these things. Like it's the
Yeah.
point that you just should leave your phone at home. But first of all, I don't understand that impulse. Like you're going to leave your phone at home, but then carry something else that is like a phone. And
Right.
if you want to do that, why not a 4G watch? I mean, we have those, right? Right? Like that I feel like that need has been addressed by the watch,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? Like
Like
better
sometimes
addressed because it's really small.
I'll go into the gym without my phone. If I'm just gonna go from home to the gym and then back, I won't bring my phone because this does everything I need it to. Right? I can even pair headphones to it and listen to Spotify on the treadmill. Right? That not a problem. I can do all the things I want with this, and this is more convenient because I don't have to put it in my pocket or have it flopping around on my shirt.
It also probably doesn't have 2 hours of battery life. So
I do. In the
like the AI pen.
moments ago, a little while ago, we were talking about how Apple has issues with battery life. This is one of those products, but no, it's not 2 hours. I'm annoyed at the fact that it doesn't last through a day. But no, it's not 2 hours. That's insane. And
Right.
if
So
that's the issue, then you've got this guy. This guy's got 30 days of battery life on it, right? There's options that aren't
right.
2 hours and $700.
Right. It just like to me it seems like, oh, and I heard that the whole, oh, here's the other interesting thing about the Rabbit R1. They didn't send any review units out. You had to buy it to
Mm,
review it, right?
okay.
And they invited the press to this event to pick up the stuff that they paid for. They had a press event. Good
Okay.
news, you can come if you pre-ordered it, and you already pre-ordered it, and we'll have yours waiting for you. And then apparently they
Okay.
waited several hours. It was a very fancy party, and the CEO came out, and before he would take any questions, he had to do a DJ. He felt he had to do a DJ set or something. So like the whole thing seems just bizarre to me. Oh wait, I forgot the best part. I have no proof that this isn't true, so I just want to say that I'm skeptical of this claim. Rabbit claims that they have already sold. This just launched this week. 100,000 of them.
Okay.
I am extremely before it ever came out, before it ever launched. They claim that they have sold 100,000 units. I am very, very skeptical that they have sold 100,000 units on pre-order of this device.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Their claim is that a startup that has never launched a product before put out essentially a spec device and did $20 million in sales before the product was ever in anybody's hands.
So all they have said, to my knowledge, is that they sold 100,000 of them. Now, what is sold?
Interesting.
What does
An interesting
sold
comment.
mean? What does sold mean? Like maybe sold means that it's going to sit on the shelf at Best Buy or something. I don't know. I
Sure,
mean,
sure.
I don't know. I would love to see a Shark Tank of this. I would love to see, like, have you watched Shark Tank at all?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
we've got
yeah,
friends who have been
I
on
would
it. Yeah,
love I would love to see the person who runs Rabbit come onto Shark Tank and have Mark Cuban and Kevin O'Leary like
I
question
think
him about what the 100,000 number means.
Cuban left, but yes.
Okay, I would love to see the Sharks question this person
Yeah.
about, like, what do you mean 100,000? Were they really $100,000 of sales? Like, do you do you mean that it's on that you got 100,000 people who registered interest in it? Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe the 100,000. What do you mean? Did you complete those sales? Were those pre-orders? Did they have to pay? Like, um, so yeah, I haven't seen anybody dig into that number. I am just very skeptical of the number, and I
For
want
good
to point
reason.
out that they have been making a really big deal of the number too. So like I keep finding Facebook ads from them where they paid to promote the fact that they sold 100,000. So they're using it as a marketing, that number for marketing.
Uh huh.
I guess
Uh
on
huh.
the premise that if 100,000 people bought it, it can't be bad.
Well, that we know not to be true.
Right. But also like pre-ordered it. I mean,
Sight
like they would have
unseen.
had to pre-order it. So I can't imagine it. I mean, are there that many tech journalists that wanted to review one? Because that seems like that was a big part of their business model.
Yeah.
uh, was getting journal, like what a marketing tool. Like, hey, we priced this such that we know that you really are going to want to review it, so we can count on selling you one for that purpose. I don't know. Anyway, I won't. That's all I have to say right now. But we'll keep an eye. So far, I mean, both of these products could improve, but I still question whether, even if they did every single thing that they say, why you would want them instead of just using your phone.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I think these are attempts to get venture capital money investment, hope to be bought, and then the people who were founders of the company get some money. That's what I think. I mean, they're certainly doing a lot of work because they actually did come out with a physical product, both of them. So I give them some kudos for that, because a lot of people go out and make vaporware and get investment based on vaporware, and this isn't vaporware, so they get some kudos for that. But I think the ideas themselves just don't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, I know I've told the story of that black. It was called Black something. It was supposed to be a gaming console. They raised millions, and then we found out that their headquarters was listed as being about 2.5 hours from where I'm sitting right now. So we just drove to their HQ one night to see what it was, and it was just like an empty storefront in a shopping center. Like, aha, this will never happen. Understood.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that out there. Um, now I will just give a quick preview that there's another device that was, well, it's been in the works, but it's sort of been teased more. I think 2 weeks ago, which is the Limitless Pendant. So um, I think we've talked a little bit on this show about Rewind. Rewind
Yes.
is an AI software that is supposed to. It's not out for Windows yet, but it is out for your phone. And now they've renamed the company to Limitless, and they have a new product called Limitless that basically transcribes and keeps a record of all of your online meetings. Uh, but obviously, the goal of Rewind was to do that, but for every single thing on your entire screen, not just meetings. Um, and uh, not just not I, but Limitless, I think it's just meetings and maybe email. But anyway, they say they're coming out with a pendant, and what the pendant will do is it's just a recording device, and it will record all of your conversations and take notes of them. uh, but you might wonder the most obvious question, which is, what about privacy of everyone that you talk to? And they say that if this isn't out yet, so we can't prove or disprove whether it works. Uh, that what it that the artificial intelligence that it will be connected to, because I mean, I presume that the pendant itself is just a recording device, right? It's probably will just be a Bluetooth microphone. Um, but I assume we'll hook up with software on your phone or something. Um, they say that you'll have to ask someone for permission, and then the AI will know if they gave you permission, and it will know their voice, and so it will only transcribe and it won't keep recording. It'll just transcribe it. It will only transcribe the words from voices of people that it knows have given permission, based on their voice and them having answered a question like, "Hey, do I have your permission?" So, I mean, interesting. I'd like to see if that works flawlessly. Um, but that is another kind of wearable AI device. But to give Limitless credit, at least if you want to do that, you want to have it record your conversations. That's something that maybe you wouldn't necessarily need to do or want to do with your phone, and having a pendant around you all the time on your neck, maybe that makes sense for if you're just going to record everything. So, obviously privacy concerns are big there, but at least the idea for the product makes sense.
Yeah, and it's sad that we're now at the point where the bar is, does the concept of the product even make sense?
Right.
But it is seemingly where
Right.
we are.
Because these other two products, they just don't seem to have a reason to exist.
Yeah.
You know, they just don't seem to have a reason to exist other than to capitalize on the hype behind AI, which is probably true of like 90% of AI things.
Yeah.
Um, but this takes the hype that's been in software and brings it into hardware.
Right.
So
Which
I
was
guess,
which was
you know,
inevitable, right?
right.
Any hype like this that starts as software always ends up with dedicated hardware, whether it makes sense or not. And I guess it was inevitable that it was going to happen again here.
Yep. So I guess stay tuned because there'll probably be more devices like this coming out and or use cases like this. Uh, I think the jury is still out on whether all of the AI features that are going to be coming to Windows and to PCs actually
Mhm.
will make sense or are things that people want. But I guess we'll find out.
Indeed, we will. And as you are fond of saying, we are in the business of interesting, not good. This is certainly interesting, if not good, and so we will definitely be tracking on this because I think you and I both find this whole thing really interesting. I've got some weird information I'm going to share with you later, from just what I've been looking at here. Um,
Yeah.
uh, we'll definitely be following these things, and we'll see if they get any weirder, or if maybe they level out some. Who knows? But as always, Avram, I appreciate it. This was very interesting, and as always, I look forward to what we talk about next time. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Piltch Point with Avram Piltch. If you did, please subscribe to our channel, and of course, hit the notification bell since subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. And if you've got topics you'd like us to discuss in the future, we'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you don't want to follow us on YouTube, that's okay. There's a lot of other ways that you can follow our content. You can find all of that by going to plughitslive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all the different ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.